Welcome to Cape Verde, an island paradise in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Beautiful beaches, vibrant culture, and pricey surprises. Today, we're putting Cape Verde to the test. What can you actually get for $20 here? Spoiler alert, it might shock you. Starting the day in Cape Verde means starting it right, with a local breakfast. I've chosen a charming cafe overlooking the ocean, the kind of spot that makes you feel like you're in a postcard. The menu here is full of options, but I'm going for the classic cachupa. It's a slow-cooked stew of corn, beans, cassava, and fish. Sounds hearty, doesn't it? Let's order a coffee with that too, because who can resist Cape Verde's locally grown beans? As the food arrives, I can't help but admire the presentation. The cachupa looks vibrant, with bright greens and a golden yolk from a fried egg on top. But then I glance at the bill, $6. For a small plate of stew and a coffee? I'm no stranger to travel, but this feels steep. Still, the flavors are bold, comforting, and perfectly seasoned. Each bite reminds me that this is more than just food. It's a taste of Cape Verdean culture. The coffee? Smooth, rich, and served in a tiny cup that screams sophistication. But at $2 for this little shot, I start wondering, is Cape Verde really the land of affordable living? By the time I finish, I realize that my breakfast has devoured nearly 1/3 of the $20 budget. I'm torn. On one hand, the cafe's ambiance, the view, and the taste are worth it. On the other hand, my wallet is already feeling lighter. Would I recommend this breakfast? Absolutely. But if you're traveling here on a budget, maybe skip the Ocean View Cafe and opt for a street vendor instead. Local breakfasts at smaller eateries can cost as little as $3, which would have saved me a decent chunk of my budget. Lesson learned. Cape Verdean mornings are better with a strategy. Transportation in Cape Verde is a blend of convenience and adventure. But one thing's for sure, it can put a dent in your wallet if you're not careful. My first plan? Taking a taxi. Taxis are everywhere here, and they're the go-to option for tourists who want comfort and reliability. I flag one down, and the driver greets me with a friendly smile. Cape Verdeans are incredibly welcoming, and within minutes, he's giving me tips on the best beaches and hidden gems. The taxi is clean and air-conditioned, which feels like a luxury in the island's warm climate. But the luxury comes at a price. After just a short 3-kilometer ride, I glance at the meter, $5. Yep, that's a quarter of my $20 budget gone in less than 5 minutes. Determined to find a cheaper alternative, I start asking locals about other options. That's when I hear about the alugas. These colorful minibuses are the backbone of Cape Verde's local transportation system. They're cheap, lively, and definitely an experience to remember. I wave one down, and the driver motions for me to hop in. The inside is packed. Kids, groceries, and even a man holding a live chicken. It's chaotic, but oddly charming. For just $1, I get a front-row seat to the everyday life of Cape Verdeans. The bus winds through narrow streets, past pastel-colored houses and open markets. Every bump in the road adds to the authenticity of the ride. Unlike taxis, alugas don't follow a strict schedule or route. They stop wherever someone wants to hop on or off, which makes the journey unpredictable. But that's part of the fun. You never know who you'll meet or where you might end up. As we drive, I strike up a conversation with the woman sitting next to me. She tells me about her family's farm and recommends a local festival happening later that week. Moments like this remind me why I love traveling. It's not just about the destinations, but the connections you make along the way. After 20 minutes, the driver pulls over, and I hop out near a bustling market. The total cost? $1. Comparing that to the $5 taxi ride earlier, it's clear that alugas are the budget-friendly winner, but there's a trade-off. While taxis are convenient and fast, alugas require patience. You might have to wait a while for one to pass by, and there's no guarantee you'll find a seat. Still, for travelers looking to save money and embrace the local culture, they're unbeatable. By the end of the day, I've spent $6 on transportation, $5 on the taxi, and $1 on the alugas. If I'd skipped the taxi altogether, I could have saved even more. It's a lesson learned for the future. So, what's the verdict? If you're traveling in Cape Verde, taxis are great for comfort and convenience, especially if you're in a hurry. But if you're up for an adventure and want to stretch your budget, alugas are the way to go. Just don't be surprised if your ride includes some unexpected detours and lively conversations. The question is, are you the kind of traveler who prefers the ease of a taxi or the thrill of a shared minibus? For me, the alugas win hands down. There's nothing like exploring a place the way the locals do, even if it means sharing a seat with a chicken. Markets are the heartbeat of Cape Verdean culture. If you want to dive into the island's soul, this is the place to be. From the moment I step into the market, I'm hit by a wave of vibrant colors, mouth-watering aromas, and the energetic buzz of locals going about their day. My first stop is a fruit stand that looks like something out of a painting. Piles of mangoes, papayas, bananas, and coconuts are stacked high, glistening under the sunlight. I ask the vendor for the price of a mango, $2 for one. That feels steep for a single piece of fruit, but it's so fresh and juicy that I can't resist. The vendor even cuts it open for me, and I savor every bite. It's like tasting sunshine. Next, I wander over to a stall selling pastel, a Cape Verdean street food classic. These fried pastries are stuffed with fish, meat, or cheese and cost just $1 each. I buy one, and as I take my first bite, the crispy golden crust gives way to a savory, flavorful filling. It's simple, delicious, and budget-friendly. As I explore further, I'm drawn to the scent of grilled seafood wafting from another stall. Freshly caught fish sizzling over open flames. Can you imagine anything more tempting? I asked the vendor for a price, $6 for a small plate. It's outside my budget for now, but the aroma alone is enough to make my mouth water. One thing I quickly notice is how much the market reflects the Cape Verdean lifestyle. It's not just a place to shop, it's a hub for socializing, trading stories, and sharing laughs. Vendors greet regular customers like old friends, and children dart between stalls, their laughter adding to the lively atmosphere. I stop at a spice vendor's table next. The colors are mesmerizing. Bright reds, deep yellows, and earthy browns. I pick up a packet of locally sourced paprika for $3. The vendor assures me it'll add a Cape Verdean kick to any dish, and I'm excited to take a piece of the market home with me. Another vendor offers me a sample of Grove, Cape Verde's traditional sugarcane rum. It's strong, really strong, but it's an essential part of the local culture. I'm tempted to buy a bottle, but at $15, it's completely out of my budget. The free sample will have to do for now. As I walk deeper into the market, I find a stall selling handmade jewelry and crafts. Bracelets, necklaces, and carved wooden figurines catch my eye. The craftsmanship is incredible, but the prices range from $5 to $20. I admire the artistry, but decide to save my remaining cash. The market isn't just about food and crafts, though. It's a sensory experience. The vibrant chatter of haggling customers, the bright fabric patterns draped over tables, and the rhythm of a nearby street musician create an atmosphere that's impossible to replicate anywhere else. By the time I leave, I've spent $3 on food, a mango, and a pastel, and $3 on spices. That's $6 total, leaving me with $14 for the rest of the day. The experience, however, feels priceless. If you're visiting Cape Verde, the markets are a must-see. They're not just places to buy goods, they're a window into the daily lives of locals. Whether you're bargaining for fresh fruit, sampling street food, or simply soaking in the lively energy, there's something magical about the market experience. My advice? Come with an open mind, a small budget, and a lot of curiosity. And don't be afraid to haggle. It's all part of the fun. Who knows? You might leave with more than just groceries. You might take home a memory that lasts forever. One, Cape Verde is a paradise of natural beauty. But let's be real. Exploring this island nation can quickly drain your wallet if you're not careful. With just $20, I'm on a mission to discover how much fun I can actually afford. Spoiler, I had to get creative. The most obvious activity, hitting the beach. The sand is soft, the water is crystal clear, and best of all, it's free. I spend some time lounging under the sun, dipping my toes into the water and collecting seashells. Honestly, the beach alone could keep me entertained all day without spending a dime. But I want more than just a lazy day. I spot a group of locals playing beach soccer and decide to join in. It's sweaty, chaotic, and absolutely hilarious. The best part? It's a totally free way to connect with people and have fun. Now, let's talk about splurging. Cape Verde is famous for its boat tours, which offer stunning views of the coastline and even the chance to spot dolphins. I find a fisherman offering a short ride for $15. It's a big chunk of my budget, but the temptation is real. As the boat pulls away from the shore, I'm surrounded by endless blue waters and dramatic cliffs. The highlight? A pod of dolphins swimming alongside us. It's like something out of a dream. After the boat ride, I have $5 left. I head to a nearby village, where I hear about a small, hidden waterfall. A local offers to guide me there for a tip. The hike is short but breathtaking, with lush greenery and bird song all around. When we arrive, the waterfall is tiny but magical, and I give the guide $2 as a thank you. For those looking for adventure, Cape Verde also has amazing hiking trails. I don't have time to tackle a big one today, but some of the trails lead to volcanic craters, secluded beaches, and panoramic viewpoints. Most of them are free or cost just a small guide fee, making them perfect for budget travelers. Speaking of viewpoints, I decide to end my day at one of the island's most famous spots, Monte Verde. The hike up is steep, but the reward is a stunning, panoramic view of the entire island. The way the golden light of sunset bathes the landscape is something you have to see to believe. And guess what? It didn't cost me a penny. If you're into cultural experiences, Cape Verde also offers plenty of opportunities. Local dance performances, traditional music, and art galleries are everywhere. Some of these cost money, but if you keep an eye out, you'll find free events happening regularly. I stumble across a small group playing Morna music near the market. It's soulful, haunting, and completely captivating. So, what's the takeaway? While Cape Verde has its pricey activities, you can still have an incredible time on a budget. Stick to free attractions like beaches, hikes, and viewpoints, and save your cash for a splurge-worthy experience like a boat tour. And here's the real secret. The most memorable moments aren't always the ones you pay for. It's the smiles of the locals, the sound of the ocean, and the feeling of discovering something new. Cape Verde is full of these little treasures, and they don't cost a thing. Would I recommend exploring Cape Verde with just $20? Absolutely. It's not easy, but it forces you to get creative and appreciate the simple joys this island paradise has to offer. So grab your sunscreen, pack your curiosity, and see how far $20 can take you. After a day of exploring Cape Verde, it's time to kick back and soak in the island's social scene. And what better way to do that than with a drink in hand? But how far will my $20 budget go in a place where sunsets are free, but cocktails, not so much? My first stop is a charming beachside bar, the kind of spot you'd expect to see in a glossy travel magazine. The menu features everything from local cocktails to imported wine, But I decide to start with something uniquely Cape Verdean, a ponche. This sweet and tangy cocktail, made with sugarcane rum, honey and lime, costs $4. It's not the cheapest drink, but the flavors are worth every penny. Plus, sipping it with a view of the waves feels like a luxury experience. Next, I ask the bartender about the local beer. He hands me a cold bottle of Strella, Cape Verde's pride and joy in the beer world. At just $2, it's a much more budget-friendly option. The beer is light, crisp, and refreshing, a perfect companion for the island heat. As I sip my drink, the bar begins to fill up. Locals and tourists mingle, sharing stories and laughter. There's a small bonfire on the beach, and a group of musicians starts playing traditional Morna music. The atmosphere is magical, and it feels like I've stepped into a movie. But what about stronger drinks? Cape Verde is famous for its grog, a potent sugarcane rum that's practically a rite of passage for visitors. A shot costs just $1, making it the cheapest drink on the menu. I decide to give it a try. Let's just say grog isn't for the faint-hearted. It packs a punch, but it's an essential part of the Cape Verdean experience. By now, I've spent $7 on drinks, a cocktail, a beer, and a shot of grog. That leaves me with $13, but it's clear that a full night out would require a bigger budget. Many of the cocktails here range from $5 to $7, and if you plan to bar hop, it could add up fast. To save money, I ask a local for tips. She suggests skipping the touristy bars and heading to a neighborhood tavern instead. These spots are less polished, but offer cheaper drinks and a more authentic vibe. At one such tavern, I find a glass of local wine for $3. The wine is surprisingly good, with a bold, fruity flavor. As the night goes on, I join a group of locals dancing to upbeat Funana music. Cape Verdean nightlife is lively and welcoming, and it's impossible not to get swept up in the energy. Even if you're not a dancer, you'll find yourself tapping your foot to the rhythm. By the end of the evening, I've spent $10 on drinks and experienced more than I ever expected. The combination of good company, live music, and ocean breezes makes every sip taste better. So, what's the takeaway? Cape Verde's nightlife has something for everyone. Whether you're looking for chic beach bars, lively taverns, or laid-back bonfires. But if you're on a tight budget, stick to local favorites like Strela beer or grog. You'll save money while still enjoying the island's vibrant social scene. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Drinking on a budget in Cape Verde might mean skipping the fancy cocktails, but it doesn't mean missing out on the fun. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what's in your glass. It's about the memories you make along the way. So grab a drink, join the dance floor, and let Cape Verde show you how to party. Trust me, it's worth every penny. So how far did $20 get me in Cape Verde? Let's break it down. For breakfast, I spent $6 on a plate of cachupa and a coffee. Delicious, but definitely not the cheapest option. Next, transportation cost me another $6, $5 for a taxi, and $1 for the alugas. If I'd skipped the taxi, I could have saved a good chunk of my budget. At the market, I spent $3 on food, $2 for a fresh mango, and $1 for a pastel. Honestly, this was one of the highlights of the day. The market's energy and flavors made it worth every penny. The boat ride, $15. It was a big splurge, but the views and the experience were unforgettable. If I'd skipped this, I'd have had more money for other activities. But sometimes, you've got to treat yourself. Finally, drinks cost me $7, a cocktail, a beer, and a shot of grog. Not bad for a little taste of Cape Verde's nightlife, but it's clear that socializing here can add up quickly. Altogether, I spent $37. Oops, that's $17 over budget. If I'd made different choices, like skipping the taxi or the boat ride, I could have stayed within my limit. But where's the fun in that? What did I learn? $20 in Cape Verde goes further than you might expect. but it's not exactly a budget traveler's paradise. You'll need to prioritize, choose wisely, and embrace the free activities. Cape Verde's beauty, culture, and energy make every dollar worth it. But next time, I might up my budget just a little, or stick to the alugas and street food. What about you? Could you survive on $20 here? Let me know in the comments.